Speedway Report is produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for Racers Reunion Radio. Well, it is Chili Bowl week in Tulsa. Dirt late models and ARCA drivers are on track in, well, a little bit warmer climates than the north. And iRacing, real or not? Thank you, social media. We've got all this and more coming up. Welcome to Speedway Report, Monday, January the 13th. Is Monday the 13th a thing? You'd think that would be the bad luck day as opposed to Friday. January 13th, 2020, from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, beautiful Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? What are you waiting for? Pull up another tab while we're rolling. Go on over to YouTube, search for Speedway Report, put us on your inbox, and never want you to miss another podcast of Speedway Report. Here we are in mid-January, and oh yeah, we're going to go through a victory lane lap. We've got a little bit of stuff on track. We talked about the dirt, a little bit of pavement before, and this time of the year, yeah, you're not real too fussy about what is on and on track as long as they are. ARCA cars pulled out a 2-day test at the Daytona International Speedway. Both days interrupted by rain, but total between the two, we totaled up about 15 hours of track time that the ARCA cars did. And Dominique Van Wieringen was the quickest, second year in a row that female has taken the fastest time during Daytona testing for the ARCA series. She ran a 49.61, pretty quick for those cars, about 181 miles per hour. They like to keep them slower than the Cup cars. All the artificial PR stuff, I know they're capable of going a whole lot faster. Dominique, good job with the quick time. The rest of the top five, David Gravel, Sean Corr, Michael Self, and Drew Dollar. Now, gosh, I was looking at that and saying, got some pretty good dirt track racing experience, a lot of dirt laps in the top five there. David Gravel, Connecticut native and World of Outlaw regular, won the Knoxville Nationals last August. Second quick as he makes his stock car racing, dips his toe, we'll call it, in the stock car racing pool this year. He's set for the ARCA opener at Daytona, full slate on the World of Outlaws, as well as, I believe, 6 Truck Series races. Obviously, the dirt race at Eldora, but some pavement racing there mixed in with 5 other shows. I'm excited to see that for David Gravel. Sean Corr, a racer at the Orange County Fair Speedway in Middletown, New York in the Pro Stock class, has some good ARCA experience. He's been on the front row there before, third quick in testing, and then Michael Self and Drew Dollar. Now, we talked about the dirt guys on the pavement. Well, let's talk about dirt guys on dirt. Wild West shootout run over the weekend in Santan Valley, Arizona. Still chilly at night there, but, well, it's not like you're going to be racing weekly up in Wisconsin. So let's get some super late model action down in Arizona. Saturday night's A main was won by Brian Shirley, and last night was taken by Brandon Shepard. Now, if you're looking for a little vacation spot, the Wild West shootout continues this week. They will take tonight off if you're watching us live on Monday, practice on Tuesday with a pit party. Wednesday night, they go back to racing as well as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Arizona. So we're going to roll with that. Yeah, it's pretty much every week from here on out. We don't got to look too hard for a victory lane lap. And the Chili Bowl is on track right now as we speak in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Exhibition Center. Over the weekend, they had move-in with all the haulers. They've got a trade show going on, and they had practice yesterday. Right now, last count that I looked at this afternoon, my math, 359 entries for the Chili Bowl, 40 states and 6 countries. Yeah, big event. This is qualifying night 1 tonight live right now as we broadcast Monday the 13th. Heat races are underway right now, and the C mains are next for qualifying night 1. This will run all week until the big driller is awarded Saturday night with the 55-lap A main. It starts right now. These points matter, and they're all battling for a spot in the A main on Saturday night. Next week's show, we will have a full wrap-up of the Chili Bowl. And I want to touch on the significance of the Chili Bowl here a little bit later as well. Let's begin with what I teased about on social media and at the top of the show, iRacing. Now, I don't cover iRacing. Yeah, I cover racing. We cover all, but what are we talking about iRacing for? Well, let me tell you, sometimes social media just takes on a life of its own, and it's kind of cool in one hand, silly in others. You roll your eyes at some, disgusted at others, and fist pump and psych at others. Depends on which way social media goes. When you are the host of an auto racing talk show and something takes on a life of its own, it's just a beautiful thing because your show prep kind of taken care of for you. What am I talking about? Oh, let's recap it. Over the weekend, Doug Coby, 6-time national modified champion for NASCAR. I know him too, guest on this show before, dig him a lot. Put up a post on Twitter, and I neglected to pull up Twitter on my screen just below the camera here, so I won't quote it. But the general gist of it was that he, Doug Coby, short track racer, nothing left to prove in the short track world, championship driver, race winning driver, was noticing that these iRacing drivers were having a media day to announce their sponsors for their iRacing program. And there was a couple down here in my neck of the woods hanging out at Dale Jr.'s shop, as well as with Denny Hamlin on Lake Norman, iRacers. And it to Doug Coby's view, makes real racers want to throw up with all the short track racers that are looking for some kind of slot, and iRacers doing their thing as well. Now, with a comment like that, naturally, hang on, I got ahead of myself there for a minute. Fuel to the fire was added when Dale Jr. himself retweeted it and expressed a terrible take on it. Did not agree with Coby at all, with Dale Jr. So let the shenanigans begin. There was a whole lot of comments made slamming Doug Coby and his opinion on iRacing, defending iRacing. There were a whole lot of short track racers who came to Coby's defense and pushed back on the iRacers. And as I have found in discussions, as well as I had one shortly before the show, is that there was a whole lot of opinions and facts and thoughts being put into a discussion which don't really have anything to do with the actual point or the original post. Like, for instance, let's take this iRacing talk. There was a lot of points that were repeated, and the folks in favor of iRacing will say, hey, Coby, give me some money so I can go race on a short track, and I'll do it. This at least gives me participation, and I can do that. Give me 50 grand, then I'll go race. Doug Coby never said it didn't cost money to go racing, and we're not disappointed that you're running video games, dude. But it was just a lost idea that Coby wasn't trying to do that. And he actually had a second tweet. It said, hey, look, I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying you don't have to be skilled to do it. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm not saying it's a good thing to do in your spare time. I think Coby's point is it's still not real racing. And it's not. It's a video game. You got to be talented to do it and be a champion in that series. Sure, yeah, you do. If you had your own money, would you race your short track on a Saturday night? You might. You probably would. That's not the point, though. The point is that Coby, and he's right, is that Coby's an actual, real race car driver. Guys on video games, have your own world, have your own skill set. You're having a great time. It allows you to participate, but it's still not a real race car. Again, more points were made that were away from Coby's original point. Ty Majeski is a great example of a guy that got exposed to racing through video games. Now he's got a heck of a short track career going, potential to move up even further. But right now, he's one of the best super late model guys in the country. Yeah, He was exposed to it through video games and came to super late model racing now. Again, good point. Brings young folks' attention to the sport. Maybe they'll go try it out for real, get a car, and actually try to race. The point is, video games are still not real racing. I like video games as much as anybody. As I heard on a phone call today, I can play Space Invaders and Asteroids. That doesn't make me an astronaut. You can be a champion at Madden NFL football. Doesn't make you ready for the NFL. You're a good video gamer. But video games have taken off a life on their own with actual prize money and tournaments and competition and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's past my interest. I really don't have an interest in it. I don't care. However, I know millions of people do. It's great that you have a pastime, the hobby. Maybe you're making money at it. Maybe you got sponsors. Maybe you get paid. But it's still not real racing. And that's Kobe's point, is when you're racing at your local short track, say on Saturday nights, you're spending the other 6 days of the week thrashing and working on your car. You may or may not have a budget. Maybe you got a whole lot of money to spend. Maybe you don't have any money to spend. You're cold in the winter. You're boiling hot in the summer. You're busting your knuckles. You got the toolbox. It's really racing. Anybody on iRacing, you are having a great time. I'm glad you're having fun. You're honing your skills. It's still a video game. It's not real racing. And I think that was Kobe's point all along. But all kinds of folks came in. I'm defending Kobe in case you haven't taken the side of it yet, to Kobe's original point. Real racers, people that are actually racing cars and would love a shot at higher leagues of NASCAR. I mean, Doug Kobe's got to look alongside Ryan Preece and say, hey, I raced against this guy for years. He's probably happy that Ryan made it to the Cup Series, but Kobe would love to have that shot. And we're looking at iRacing as sponsorship, and we're coming down here to Charlotte, North Carolina. We're having media day. I mean, to real racers, you got to understand how odd that looks and how weird that is. It's like, why are we doing it? To me, it's still a video game. It takes skill. I got it. I'm not beating anybody up or putting it down, but it is a video game. It's not real racing. Reality TV took off in the 1990s. It was all the rage. I said for years, I'm not a big TV watcher. I said for years, you want reality? Shut the damn TV off. There's your reality. If you want real racing, shut your video games off and go do it. I know you may not have the money to do it, so don't do it. Do your video games if that's what you can afford to do. Enjoy the sport. Have fun. But don't confuse it with real racing. Now, guys that are racing use these all the time. They use simulators and can learn a track, can ride on the track. So there is a crossover between guys that are actually behind the wheel of a car and the video game technology. You can call it a simulation if you want, if you're helping out I know, William Byron is a big simulator. There have been plenty of guys that at Cup level, Xfinity level, they have the budgets. They're in a simulator and, can help learn the track and dissect their skills. However, if you're playing video games, call it what it is. It's not real racing. So I'm backing Kobe on this one. A lot of people were slamming him for things he did not say. And clearly there's nothing and there's no words that point out anything but that. You can't put words in his mouth and defend and smash him and beat up Kobe with points and criticisms that he never made or never said. It takes a lot of skill to be a good video gamer. I couldn't do it, but I have no intention of doing it either. I don't care. But if someone wants to put a bet down and we can go head-to-head on a video game, they'll probably win. I'm not that good at them. Fair enough. Did we have a good time? Awesome. A great Saturday afternoon? Yeah, it was good. We have a good time. We're involved in racing. Loved it. Yes, it's not real racing. I see Kobe's point, and even up to Dale Jr. I think he got Kobe's point wrong. Kobe's allowed to have his opinion on this stuff, and he didn't slam or degrade iRacing at all. What his point is that he would like a short opportunity, and I don't really personally, Patrick is saying, I don't understand where opportunity is coming from a video game. But if you like them, you dig iRacing and race in the series and do what you got to do, Enjoy the sport, man. Love it. But when it comes time to go to the local short track, that's where I'll be. That interests me. I spend enough time in front of a screen trying to make a living. I don't need to spend any more of it with race cars. Get me out to my local short track. That's where you'll find me. Sunshine, fresh air, real race cars, and real racing. Off my soapbox. Back onto another soapbox. It's Chili Bowl week. You heard the numbers I said before. Over 300 entries for this thing. Over 40 states, 6 foreign countries represented here. We started practicing yesterday, Sunday. We had load in over the weekend. So guys are there a full week. There, never mind their travel to and from how they are. So how big is the Chili Bowl? That golden driller means a whole lot to so many people, including me. It's one of, if not the biggest short track event in the country, arguably the biggest. Chili Bowl, that driller, the golden driller trophy, so coveted, so sought after. Hey, wait a minute. How much does the Chili Bowl pay to win for an entire week in Tulsa, Oklahoma? About $10,000. That's right. I'll say it again. About $10,000. So you can win this thing every year and you will still be way, way in the hole as far as the Chili Bowl event goes. Now, why? Why do it? This is not about making money. The Chili Bowl never has been, never will be. The money is not the point. What the Chili Bowl is they've created an amazing event that went beyond just a race. It's an event that so many people want to be a part of. Putting out a ton of money, paying a ton of money, these crazy purses don't make the event. Now, granted, money's good, like at the Knoxville Nationals and the World 100. You know, there's real healthy purses that are good for these teams. However, that's not really why everybody goes. The purse helps, but in the case of the Chili Bowl, the purse has nothing to do with it. The payout for what you spend is terrible. However, what they've done is they've created an event. And I still look back at all these forms of short track racing, and there's these tent pole events. Right here for the midgets is the Chili Bowl. I mentioned the World 100. I mentioned the Knoxville Nationals. You know, for pavement late models, there's the Winchester 400 and the Snowball Derby. We can go on and on and on. Where is my event for my beloved pavement NASCAR modifieds? We had so many growing up, and some of them still exist, but so many of them have gone by the wayside. And it's not about the prize money or the purse. It's the event with the car count and that thing that everybody had to be a part of. We used to have the double headers at Martinsville. We used to have the Spring Sizzler at 80 laps and those the races at Oswego and the Thompson 300 and the Race of Champions as it moved around from Langhorne to Trenton to Pocono. There was so many events that modified guys had to be a part of. Now, purse to scale from back in the day to today, I don't know what the guys were spending. I don't have the research in that to know who made money, who won money, who lost money. I don't know. But I know that when I grew up going to all these pavement modified races in the Northeast, these were events. The Thompson 300 was an event you had to be a part of. Everybody was there. You just went. Prize money, I kind of looked at it as a kid. I think I paid $200 for last place around 1978. 10 grand to win, 6,500 to win, whatever it was. I'd have to research it. The point was it was an event. And now my great modifieds, I don't think there are really events anymore. There's the Tri-Track Series. There's the Whelen Modified Tour, the Race of Champions Series. Even the Race of Champions, it still exists, but it's not on the radar of every modified that you have to go to. They're splintered in the Northeast with different rule packages. They're even splintered in the South with different rule packages for pavement modified. So you can't just go to a modified race and have your car legal and no problem anymore. I think you got to spend a lot of money from series to series. But I just miss that. Why can't we have this event? We've got 340, whatever the number I said, over 300 entries for the Chili Bowl. Like for the big races, for the pavement modifieds, over 100 cars showing up was somewhat regular for the big events. But when we opened up SK Racing and SK Light Racing, and as years go on, the Valenti Modified Series, I think there's as many modifieds in the Northeast as there ever has been, but they're just in different forms or different classes. When in the 70s or the early 80s I grew up, it was just modifieds. That was it. That's what you raced. I wish we could get back to that. We just have all the modifieds at one event instead of having all these classes. I don't get excited for new classes of cars. I don't. I get excited when old classes get together and we can have a huge field, try to just make a feature race and have a consolation be a meaningful event. Heck, this Wild West Shootout out in Arizona, I don't know if it pays a whole lot of money, but there was enough for heats, B mains, C mains, and an A main. I think you created an event where people want to go to it. Get out of the cold and the snow, go to at least to Arizona. Fine, let's go to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Chili Bowl. It's January. It's inside. It's going to run. It's not going to be rained out. My pavement modifieds, where are you guys? You know, Stafford, Thompson, Race of Champions, Valenti. Man, let's have that event again. Maybe the guys in the Tri-Track series are there. They're the guys to make this happen. I don't know, but I miss the days of yore. You know, old man yells at cloud. Old man wishes, hey, when I was a kid, uphill in the snow both ways. I know. I'm an old modified guy. Were things better? Some of them were. Everything? No. I like my timing and scoring. When I can't go to the race, I like the internet. I certainly like the safety modifications that are in these cars nowadays. I don't want everything to go back to 1977. But some stuff that we let go, it was good stuff. And I'd love to get it back in all forms of short track racing. In between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of racing with SpeedwayReport.com. This show and all of our past ones are uploaded onto the site. We've also got some articles to read. Head on over to SpeedwayReport.com. If you're looking for other places where our shows are archived, we are on Facebook on this page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and on the Racers Reunion Facebook page. I'm also on Twitter at Speedway Pat and at Speedway Report. And you can find us in the forum if you go to racersreunion.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, another place where all Speedway Report episodes are. Big thanks to everyone on the Facebook feed tonight. Thanks for joining in. If you've got any thoughts on the Chili Bowl or the pavement modifieds or this iRacing conversation that blew up over the weekend, feel free to type it in the comments. I'd love to read what's on your mind, whether we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, I don't care. Watch the show. Let me know what you think of iRacing. Do you participate? Do you roll your eyes at it? Where are we in the iRacing world? I don't play video games, but I'd love to hear where my audience is, so don't be afraid to chime in and type up some thoughts. Please let me know what you're thinking. I want to thank all of the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at Speedway Pat. Now, right now, if you are watching us live, head on over to the Drag Racing List page. That's Drag Racing List. And Drag List Live is up, coming up at the top of the hour here. You got Bill, you got John, you got Barb. They got all the drag racing talk coming up in about 5 minutes from now. Now, I'll be back here live on Facebook January 20th, 2020, Monday. And we begin Rolex 24 week in Daytona. We'll have a wrap-up of the Chili Bowl week in Tulsa, and I'll keep an eye on the feuds by the keyboard cowboys and the strong warriors that hide behind their screens. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, I'll see y'all next week.